What's going on? I have recovered. Good news, everybody. I have recovered from the emergency stream last night for golf. The lungs were a little on fire, but we've had some time. Good night of sleep. We're feeling much better, and I think I got plenty of energy to fucking make it through this slate. I don't care how slimy the game is. What's up, new guy? I'm the Degenerate75. I'm a DFS content creator who is here to help you get a little bit better at DFS. If you don't know, you're probably doing so many things wrong and you have no idea what those are. You probably watch all these shows where the moderators show you their screenshots and give you their picks, and you wonder why you never win following those dumbasses. Well, the problem is their picks fucking suck and they just play a lot of money. There's the real answer, okay? So if you want to learn a little bit about the process, you might have just found the right show. I'm here to help you get a little bit better, and I'm not going to do it with a single pick or play today. So if you find you like the cut of my jib, you come check out that schedule right there. We do this every Monday and Thursday at noon in the Lord's time zone. I also do college football and golf if you're into those things. And, of course, Saturday night at 7 o'clock, I will be doing my Final Thoughts stream. Make sure to be there for that. I do give a lot of stuff away because you need to know something. I am not a poor. I am not a poor. Every 50 likes we get over there, I will be doing a giveaway today where you will build a lineup with me, and I will split the profits with you 50-50, okay? And don't forget, me and Tambo every Tuesday break down the slate. We already have our video up for this week, so go check that out if you want to get your juices flowing for the main slate coming up this Sunday, okay? Good. Let's get going. First thing we're going to talk about is contest selection, which, look, I'm on golf. Look at me. I'm just the worst. Still on that golf mind. Sorry, I did a golf stream last night. Fucking deal with it, pal. Let's see here. For the slate tonight, we have a half a milli maker. 500,000 up top. I mean, these are just so gross, man. I'm just going to tell you what I always tell you. Three kinds of people are playing this. People who are max entering it for 150. People that just have their one lineup in a dream who are making it on the shitter at 6 o'clock tonight. And fucking morons. Those are the three kinds of people that you're playing this. Are you any of those? If you are, well, then go play in it. If not, don't, Bob. I've been having a lot more success this year. Well, I haven't really hit anything big at Showdown yet, but I've been much more sustainable at Showdown this year, basically just by playing in those medium-level single entries, right? The $100 single entry, the $50 single entry, the $15 single entry. There's a lot of really good contests out there, and, I never play more than 20 lineups on Showdown because I usually just don't like that many scripts. I kind of like to run with one or two scripts and build my lineups around that, but I'm telling you, man, when you play in those medium level GPPs, especially with less than 2,000 or 3,000 people, you really just have to hit a solid lineup, and you will have a sweat way into the fourth quarter, right? A lot of times in the big millionaire maker, by halftime, your ass is cooked, right? And that's never really the issue in those smaller filled GPPs, especially at the medium purchase level. So I just encourage you to try that. Also, I've really noticed a lot of people over on my site have been playing more cash at Showdown, and I think it's very viable, right? You basically just get the guys who are the best values. You probably stick a quarterback or two in there, and then you get the wide receivers who are going to get the targets, and you'd be amazed how much that will beat 50% of people because people be trying to play like some just the stupidest plays, right? They'll be playing like, Darnell Mooney in their cash lineup tonight. What the hell are you doing, dude? So there you go. That is contest selection for tonight. A lot of the same rules apply as always. If you just want a good example, maybe you're not a guy that plays a ton of money each slate, right? The $15 single entry right here, just look how good this structure is. This is just a tremendous structure. First place is only 10%. Second place is half of that. 10th place is 1/10 of that. Very nice. Let's see. I'm just trying to give you some ideas if you're a person on a budget, right? Look at that. We got a $3 single entry down here. We have a $4 3 max. We have a $6 single entry. So I don't care what budget you're playing. There are well-structured contests out there for you, and I encourage you to get in those and quit always thinking, I could win $500,000. You're not going to do it, bro. You're not going to do it. All right, let's get to this slate. But before we do, I just want to thank all of you who have been liking and subscribing, sharing with a friend. YouTube ain't going to share my shit. We're just a little DFS site that could, and the one that all the big boys are scared of. So every time you tell a friend about us, it is much appreciated. Let's move to the slate. This is called the Rosetta Stone. Yes, this is the YouTube one that you poors get because I don't have it all colored up. I don't have my projections in there, my optimals, my ownership, all of that. I do that. Look, right there. That's what the real Rosetta Stone looks like. But this is the one for YouTube, okay? Let's talk about the slate tonight. I think we're gonna begin where we always begin, and that's going to be with injuries. Johan Johnson and Curtis Samuel, wide receivers for the Commandos. Okay, there was a little concern about their injury designation, but they seem to both be fine. They are not on the injury report, so I'm expecting them to both be full go tonight. Over for Chicago, it seems as though Chase Claypool is just gone. He done. All right, so that probably opens up a little bit of value. I mean, I don't know how much value there ever is in the Chicago Bears passing game, but if there was ever any value to be had, he is gone, so that could open the door for a new third wide receiver. And other than that, both teams are relatively healthy, but they do have one small problem here. I wrote it down real quick. They both fucking suck. That's their big problem. But as I've said this once, I've said it 100 times, I actually like slates when both teams really suck, like the Broncos and the Cardinals a few weeks ago, right? Or the Cardinals and the Giants. When you have two teams that really suck, sometimes they just accidentally do well, right? They just accidentally do well. So, by the way, I already see 50 likes. That's one drawing. Give me to 100, you motherfathers. So, I actually think that this game could sneaky shoot out. You see a 44.5 point total is not that low, and Washington with a 25.5 point total is pretty big, right? So I think that this might be a coming out party. Everybody was really high on Sam Howell coming into the season. Maybe tonight is the night he finally lives up to it. So there is that narrative, right? But I also think that Chicago at 19 points, I'm telling you, man, Justin Fields started to show a little bit last week. I know that he is not like a great NFL quarterback, but let me go ahead and tell you, he is a pretty damn good fantasy quarterback because he just does so much with his legs, right? He's a lot like Anthony Richardson, or maybe Anthony Richardson's like him. I don't think he's ever going to win a Super Bowl, but I think he is always a guy that you want to be considering for fantasy football because we're not here trying to fucking grind out wins. We are here trying to hit fantasy football lineups, and when you do that, you don't give a shit if they're good players. You care if they score you fantasy points. And let me just go ahead and tell you something. Justin Fields can score fantasy points. All right, let's start with Chicago. Only a 19-point total, but something tells me like this. I don't know. I have a hard time believing that Washington is a touchdown better than Chicago, okay? Justin Fields is a guy. He's one of only probably 3 quarterbacks in the entire NFL that on a showdown slate I wouldn't like most showdown slates. If I play a quarterback, I'm always going to have at least one pass catcher with him, right? But I think Justin Fields is one of 3 guys I am kind of okay not having a pass catcher. He can get there naked, and if you don't know what naked means, that means by himself, dickie. So if Justin Fields can get there naked, I could see, like, if you want to run a 3-3 build tonight, right? 3 Bears, 3 Commandos, then I think that you could go like Justin Fields, Khalil Herbert, and, the kicker or the defense or whatever you want to do, right? Justin Fields is one of those super rare quarterbacks in the NFL on a showdown slate where he can get there by himself, that he will take no pass catchers across the finish line with him, right? Now, I'm not telling you to not do that. I'm just saying it is unique that you can consider Justin Fields tonight and not have him with a pass catcher. Normally, I would say that's a foolish thing to do, right? So a naked Justin Fields is fine. Now, as far as his pass catchers go, obviously DJ Moore is clearly his number 1 target, and Cole Kmet is clearly his number 2. And then after that, you're just at a craps table in Vegas, just throwing the dice because we do not know who gets it. It would appear as though Darnell Mooney getting a massive 3 targets a game, would probably be the 3rd most likely. But I will say, now that Chase Claypool's gone, I think that opens up just a little bit of value for Equimania St. Brown. That's Amon-Ra's brother. And Tyler Scott, right? I don't love either of those guys, but if you're, on a showdown slate, I think you got to be open to playing these slimy ass receivers because if they can just catch one catch for 20 yards and a touchdown or something like that, they're almost certainly going to get there, right? And if you look at the script, there is a decent chance Justin Fields will be playing from behind and having to throw the ball, and they could be in 4 wide sets. And when they're in 4 wide sets, I think you would expect to see St. Brown and Scott out there along with Mooney and Moore, right? From there, we skipped over the running backs. I think the running back situation is very, very interesting. Everybody is always so high on Roschon Johnson. They keep seeing that he is getting, roughly the same amount of touches or, he's on the field roughly the same amount. But here's what I've noticed. Roschon Johnson only gets comparable stats or comparable usage to Khalil Herbert when the game's a blowout. When the Bears are in competitive games, when they're ahead or it's a 50-50 game, Khalil Herbert is clearly playing as the number 1 back, okay? So if you think that Chicago is going to get the break speed off him tonight, well, then Roschon Johnson's a fine play. I think he will get in there. But if you think that Chicago could be playing from ahead or this game is going to be all the way down to the very end, 50-50, I think Khalil Herbert is clearly the number 1 back there in Chicago, and he's coming off of a pretty good week. Khalil Herbert does not suck. It's just Chicago sucks. Lastly, at tight end, Cole Kmet has just been the usage monster there. Tonyan and Lewis are getting, 1 target or less a game. If I'm going to punt at tight end, it sure as shit ain't going to be with Chicago. Cole Kmet is basically the number 2 wide receiver for them, averaging a smooth 6 targets a game. So I think that Cole Kmet, if I'm stacking with Justin Fields, I would actually probably go Kmet number 1 and Moore number 2 just because of the discounts I get at savings, right? A $10,000 DJ Moore, I'm never pumped up to play a $10,000 receiver when Justin Fields is the asshole that has to throw him the ball, right? As far as the kickers go, typically speaking, I don't like kickers on the road or kickers in underdog matchups, and Cairo Santos is both of those. And the Bears defense, I think, could be sneaky. I'm not convinced Sam Howell's not a complete farce and is not a guy that has, could get sacked 5 times, fumble, and get a touchdown return to the house. So the Bears defense, I think, could be a sneaky play tonight, especially if you think that the Bears can win or are going to be highly competitive in this game. Switching over to Washington, Sam Howell, people want to believe in this guy. I think 9,400 on a showdown slate is a pretty fair price for him, right? I think you can pretty easily get both of these quarterbacks in a lineup tonight. He has not been great this year, but he also hasn't been horrific, right? He's just like a 17 points a game kind of guy. You plug and play him there. But I wonder if he has that elite upside. The running back situation to me for Washington is the most interesting, right? They clearly have a two backs that are leading this, right? They have Robinson and they have Antonio Gibson. And Brian Robinson, I can't believe this, just definitely is dominating the targets there, right? Or not the targets, the usage out of that backfield. He is priced up to $9,200, which I always get a little leery of playing a $9,200 running back whenever he's essentially just in a 50-50 split. But Brian Robinson, if you think they're going to be ahead, I think is definitely the better play over Antonio Gibson. Yes, I know he's almost 3 times the price of him, but here's what I can tell you. If Washington is playing ahead, I think Brian Robinson is a shoo-in for 15 touches minimum, probably upwards of 20, right? Whereas if you think that this game shoots out or Chicago gets ahead, I think Antonio Gibson becomes the more interesting of those two plays, as you will see him used out of the backfield more and the third down work more frequently than Brian Robinson will. So really, you need to ask yourself, what type of game will this be? I will tell you this. I don't like both those running backs in a lineup together. I really struggle to see a game in which both of them get there. I guess it could be Commandos win 35-3 and they both get there. But to be honest with you, Bob, I don't love it. I don't love it. Moving down to receiver, the wide receivers, we already talked about Dotson and Samuels both seem to be healthy. Terry McLaurin is still the number 1 receiver. He is getting the most targets, but man, 10,200, I'm not exactly pumped to get 6.5 targets for $10,000, right? And if you're like, well, he's a big play guy. Well, so is Johan Dotson, okay? So like, I would say that, McLaurin is due for that big breakout game, and against the Bears is probably his best chance to do it all year. But I think that Johan Dotson is just as likely to have a big game. He's getting nearly the same amount of targets. You can see he actually plays more snaps than Terry McLaurin so far on the season. And oh yeah, he's $3,200 fucking dollars cheaper. That needs to be factored into your equation, right? But don't forget, Curtis Samuel, even though he's only getting 67% of the snap share, the one thing you can say about him is they design plays specifically for him, right? He's not a guy that, they just throw him the ball whenever they're going through the progression. They design plays for him, end rounds, little push passes, quick screens, all kinds of stuff. He gets plays designed for him, and he offers you a very safe floor because of that. I think, you can see he averages 5 targets a game. I would really like his chance at 5 targets. De'Ami Brown was a guy I was going to be very warm to when I thought Dotson or Samuel might be limited. He is clearly their number 4 wide receiver, but man, there's already too many mouths to feed in this commando offense. It gets really hard to punt at a 4th wide receiver, but if you made me punt with a 4th wide receiver, it would be definitely De'Ami Brown over Tyler Scott from the Bears. Lastly, at tight end for Washington, Logan Thomas is clearly back and has established himself as the clear number 1 tight end. He got almost all the run share last week. Cole Turner was down to like legit 10% snap share. He is getting nothing now that Logan Thomas is back. And yes, John Bates does have a higher snap percentage than Cole Turner, but he's legit just a blocker. The most you're going to get out of him is 1 catch for 1 yard and a touchdown, right? That is his ceiling, okay? Now, if you want to do that, you go ahead. But I would bet that they just run the ball in down there on the goal line. So Logan Thomas, it does seem to be a guy who's trending. He is a guy who I think is probably the number 3 or 4 wide receiver for a team with a 26-point total. And at 5,200, I don't hate him. But if you made me pick, I think I'd go Cole Kmet over him, right? Lastly, Joey Sly, the kicker, I think I never mind a kicker at home, especially kickers who are favored. If this game is something like 30-14 and he gets 3 field goals and 3 extra points, he could likely sneak into an optimal lineup. And of course, the Commandos with the home defense playing Justin Fields, who is a turnover machine, also becomes very interesting at 5,400. I never mind playing them, but I will tell you that building 4 guys, if you go Sam Howell, Brian Robinson, one of the pass catchers, and then either the kicker or the defense. That 4-2 Washington build is probably going to be the most common build tonight. And the problem you get yourself into when you are playing the most common build is you're going to be either being duped a ton or be playing 1v1s versus tons of other people, and you don't want to be doing that, right? 1v1s, 2v2s, you really narrow yourself down to, well, now these guys have to do well. And you want your whole lineup to offer you that upside. So I really encourage you, if you want to get different tonight, if you think Washington's going to beat the brakes off of them, go 5-1 Commandos over the Bears and put one at the captain. Or if you really want to get weird, go 4-2 Bears or 5-1 Bears. Jesus, I don't know what 5 Bears you're going to play, but no one will have that build, okay? Definitely the most common build tonight will be 3-3 builds with a commander at the captain and 4-2 builds with a commander at the captain. If you get away from those two builds, that alone will get you different than something like 60 to 70% of all lineups out there. So consider your roster composition whenever you're making your lineups tonight, and that will be what you need. All right, guys, we're up to 85 likes. Keep hitting that like button for me. Get me to 100. I'm going to go do the drawings, and we're going to answer questions. Before we do, go check out my site, djn75.com. We are growing like a weed. It was a very, very good week for us last week. Our site is not about my screenshots. It's about the community screenshots. And look at all those screenshots. That's from 1 week of NFL. Absolutely insane. All those flags flying. It warms my soul. We do it by doing all this without price gouging you and offering you the best tool out there. You want my projections? They're all loaded into the solver. You want my ownership? They're all loaded into the solver. You want it all in one place where you can read and get all the information. It's right here on the Rosetta Stone. I do this for every single NFL slate, PGA slate, and college football slate. And oh yeah, because September was such a huge month and you guys, we had our biggest month ever in growth, I'm doing the big month giveaway for 1 week where if you use promo code NEWGUY, which you are, you can come try it out. 10% off anything. And if you want to try out the site before you commit to it, well, just sign up for my newsletter right here, the Mother Father Football newsletter. Well, so it will be out tomorrow morning, so be looking out for that. And if you just sign up for that, you show the editor at the DGen Editor on Twitter, you signed up, he will get you a free week on the website. All right, let's get to that drawing. Editor, I see 90 likes. So let's go ahead and let's get to 100 likes, and then we'll do a second drawing. For right now, editor, draw me one name from the chat to build a lineup with me tonight. While he's doing that, don't forget at the top of the hour, go check out my dudes over at Ship It. Tambo, Hoop, and Title will all be breaking down the Thursday night slate. They will have tons of great information, and we'll break down the game for you. That is what they do. While we're hitting the like button over there, I'm going to go start answering some questions, okay? So let me go back to my stone real quick, and then I'll go answer your questions, you motherfathers. All right, answering questions. What's up, big guy? Not much, just enjoying a Thursday. I'm kind of getting excited for college football. Sooners are playing Texas this weekend. I'm ready. Does Fields nerf Herbert's upside, or can both Fields and Herbert get there? I think they can both get there. Matter of fact, I like a Fields and Herbert little mini stack, right? I think that he could get there. And plus, I just don't really trust. I think a Fields Herbert Komet, and if you really want to get weird, maybe go with the kicker or the defense. That could be a way to get 4 Bears in there, which is something no one is going to do. Are any of these 20 tryhards playing shit contest for Golf Showdown today? You better be. What kind of ownership do you see on these defenses? Well, Andy, you're over on this. I think that the Bears defense will definitely be under 10%, and I think that the Commanders defense will probably be somewhere in the 20 to 25 neighborhood, which is very, very high for defenses on Showdown. Is it too risky fading Robinson completely? Feel like everyone likes, no. I'm never afraid to fade a running back at Showdown, right? Because there are scripts in which running backs get scripted out of the game, and running backs get banged up way more than any other position because they're in a car wreck every time they touch the ball. And Brian Robinson especially doesn't have those super safe touches, right? He doesn't get a guaranteed 5 catches a game to give him that floor. So there's always a path to fading running backs like that. I'm not telling you to do it, but there is a path to it. Yes, Gibson is very sneaky, Davis. I do not think he will be highly owned at all. At all. All right, editor, looks like we're almost to 100 likes. Make sure to do that second draw. And by the way, did you already do the first one, editor? Who was the first? The first one was Big Deal Pickle. Let's go. He's a big deal. Editor, draw that second one for me real quick. Let's see. Any FanDuel strategy for tonight? I mean, I think almost all the strategies you use at DraftKings Go Collect can apply to FanDuel, and in that, you just really want to be aware of your roster composition, right? Go 3-2 Bears, 4-1 Bears, stuff like that, and that will have you dramatically different than most people, because really the only big difference between FanDuel and DraftKings is DraftKings allows 6 players in your lineup. FanDuel only allows 5. The other winner, Drew Stern. I don't know that name, but I've heard he's serious. Very serious man, that's Stern. Okay, there you go, guys. Reach out to me. We'll build a lineup tonight. We'll put it in the big half a milli maker, and we'll see what we can do. If you don't put a question mark, I'm not gonna read it. All right, what's wrong with Robinson on the stream? What's wrong with Robertson on the stream? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Okay, moving on. Washington, defense's captain. Trying to see what the hell that guy's talking about. Washington's defense is captain, popular because the Seahawks. Yeah, I mean, I think Washington's defense will probably be somewhere around 4 or 5% owned. I never really loved defenses as captains. You really got to get into a very specific build. The game would need to be something like 17-3 or something like that. And one of those touchdowns would probably need to be him. It just really forces you into a very specific game script, and I don't always love that. Will Fields be dumping off to Herbert and Kmet? Yeah, I mean, I think that those are if you made me pick who is the most likely to get the most targets tonight, I would pick Kmet. If you think that the Bears are going to be scoring a lot of points, I think I would lean DJ more, right? But if they're going to be grinding it out, I think that Kmet and then probably Herbert offer you some safe floor there as far as targets. Which team do you think will have the most rushing yards? Oh, definitely Washington. Well, okay, let me rephrase. Okay, because Fields does get rushing yards. Okay, so which team's going to have more rushing yards from the running back? It will definitely be Washington. Overall, I think it's probably 50-50. I think that Herbert and Fields can run the ball a little bit, especially if they're going to be competitive in this game, right? What's up? Well, let's see. What's up, DJ? We're going to bring home a dub tonight? I'm not opposed to it. Is a low-scoring game build going to be popular tonight? No, I think that this total, I think that bad teams, people think, well, okay, it might be popular, but I don't think that it's like the most common to happen. So I think it could be popular, but I'm okay with not doing that. 5-1, the most popular build tonight? No, Joanne, it will almost certainly be a 4-2 Washington build will be the most common tonight. Chris Mayday, let's go. Thoughts on unexpected high-scoring game with tons of points possibility percentage? I think that this game has at least a 25% chance of shooting out. By shooting out, I mean something like 31-28, right? I'm telling you, when you have two bad teams, sometimes they accidentally fucking play well. Would you look to fade the defenses today? Well, I mean, it depends on your script. If you think it's going to be a shootout, you certainly want to stay away from those defenses, right? So I think you can only answer that by answering what kind of script do you think the game's going to be. Can the Bears hang in there tonight? I think so. I haven't seen what you've seen from the Commandos to make you think they're going to beat the brakes off the Bears. And a 20 max, how many captains would you use? I would let my number of scripts, Mike, determine that, but generally speaking, 2 to 3. How you doing today? Better now that you're here, Leo. Brock, is there any way we see Fields not finish the game? Not an injury, mainly thinking about blowout narrative or get benched. Yeah, I mean, no. We've seen that they pretty much roll with him till the end. I think they've pretty much realized they've made their bed. Now they got to lay in this fucking shitty Justin Fields thing. Is this going to be a slimy Thursday night game? I think that's what everybody thinks, Thomas, so I think I'm going to go with it's actually going to be a very efficient, high-scoring game. Will Fields go nuclear tonight? I mean, look, if the Bears score 28 points, you give me away they could score 28 points and Justin Fields doesn't have a big game. Hell, even if they score 24 points, give me away he doesn't have a big game. Is fading both defenses too cute? Not at all. Look, if you think that the game is going to be, even if you think the game is going to be 24-21, in a script like that, very rarely will the defenses outpace the wide receiver, running backs, and quarterbacks. Any below 2K worth a look? If you made me pick somebody below 2K, I mean, I guess Equimini St. Brown could possibly be one. But, man, it's pretty gross out there, Bob. It's pretty gross. There's not a lot of great punts tonight. If it's a shootout, what do we think we need both QBs in? Yeah, I would think so. I typically like both quarterbacks in my lineups when it's a shootout. And, you know, Hal being at 9,400 is also, you know, pretty reasonable price tag. Which quarterback is better for cash? Probably almost certainly Fields, I would say. Feels like it's a really good night to have Samuel. Bears suck. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, Samuel is the only guy in this game that probably the coaches have already drawn up 4 plays for him, and he's guaranteed to get them, right? Is playing no defense or kickers unique build tonight? Is playing no defense or kick? Yeah, if you have none of them, yeah, I would say something probably around, I would guess around 70% of lineups will either have one of the kickers or one of the defenses in it, right? All right, you like a 4-2 or 5-1 onslaught? Well, if I'm going Commandos, I like a 5-1 onslaught just to try to get a little bit different. And if I'm going Bears, I can't see 5 Bears I want to put in a lineup, so I'd probably be a 4-2 guy there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Favorite non-DJ Moore receiver? Johan Dotson for me. Curtis Samuel or Dotson tonight? Let me ask you this, Austin. Why not both? Why not both? What's up, Chris? Let's see. Is Brian Robinson one of those plays where we play him at captain and completely fade him? Is Brian Robinson one of those plays where you play him at captain or completely fade him? Yeah, I really like that idea. I think you go all in on Robinson because he's going to be mega owned. I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood. It's over on the stone. I think he's around 60%. And with that, I think you just fade him and you hope, or you go all in on him. So at least you have a little bit of leverage if he does do well. Matt says, Matt Slovakia, is the stone final? Yeah, it's over on the site. Donkey. This seems like low optimal. Hey, bro, we just take the projections, we put them in the optimizer, see what it says. You don't have to fucking agree with it. It's just don't use it if you don't agree with it, pal. I'm down with bad donkey bear fans. Can we use Caleb Williams at captain yet? God, he's going to be so good in the NFL. I don't know why these teams are even trying to win games. Just go get Caleb Williams. Dude's a generational talent. Is Washington D comparable to Denver's? I think so. I think that I think that people think because they have Chase Young, they have a good defense. They do not have a good defense, okay? Have you hit the like button? Razor Sharp gets it. Razor Sharp. Let's see if we can get to 125 likes. How many captains for 150 lineups? Well, Sarah, I would probably have like 3 or 4 different narratives if I'm building 150 lineups. And within each narrative, I usually have like 2 or 3 different captains. So in that case, I would probably have somewhere, in that 6 to 9 range as far as captains go, right? Let's see. What do you think about Logan Thomas at captain? I don't love it. I just feel like he just doesn't have the big upside because your captain, captain has to do one of 2 things, right? It has to have massive upside where they can go have that smash game and you get 1.5x, or they need to be so cheap that if they just have a solid game and they allow you to get everybody else. And to me, Logan Thomas is neither of those. He doesn't offer a big upside, nor is he cheap enough to let you get to all the other guys. So I don't like him, Teddy. Is B-Rob a captain getting different? No. He will be I would imagine he's probably going to be at least one of the top 2 players at captain tonight. Steve Jones says, is Contrarian to be lower on the commander guys after playing yeah, I mean, most people are going to be playing more commanders than bears tonight, right? And so with that, if you play more commanders, that alone will have you more, or excuse me, if you play more bears, that alone will have you more different. Crypto, person on a budget equals retired. Cool, I get it. That's why the show's free, mother father. What are your thoughts about handcuffing Gibson to Robinson for GPPs? Look, I think that those 2 guys are completely opposite of each other. One, Gibson is better in a more shootout script or a Commanders get behind script, and I think Robinson is much better if the Commanders are playing from ahead. So I think that those 2 are anti-complementary, and I think that if one is doing well, it usually means the other is not. Chalky as captain. I'm gonna go with Brian Robinson. I think he's gonna be popular. Is it way too gross to go St. Brown captain or flex a whoever you want? Is it way too gross to go St. Brown? Yeah, I mean, bro, that's, once again, at least he offers the cheapness where it does allow you to get to some other guys. But, man, like, what is his upside? Like 12 points? I don't know, man. You're really, really narrowing yourself down there. I don't love Equiminius St. Brown at captain. I like him more as a punt in a lineup with, like, a Justin Fields at captain, right? Justin Fields rushes for 2 touchdowns, throws 1, and it's to St. Brown, right? That's kind of the narrative I would like. Anyone here think you need to change the name back to the Redskins? I still call them the Redskins all the time. I refuse to call them Commanders. What a stupid fucking name. Ayo, guns. Can you touch on how to look at ownership when building lineups? Yeah, you need to find a place that offers good ownership, right? Like you see right here on my stone, we put the ownership for all the players in there. Or if you're over on the solver, I load all my ownership into there, and it will calculate up your total ownership of every lineup. So that will give you a good idea of how owned your lineup is. And then you just got to kind of look and say, well, if there's 6 guys in my lineup, what's too chalky? And usually that number is going to be like, you don't want to be above like 120% or 150% usually, because then your lineup is going to be so similar to everybody else's, right? How many snaps did St. Brown get? He got more last week. Last week, he is definitely trending up in the snaps. I don't have the number off the top of my head. I like a 4-2 Washington run back. Well, then do it, Bob. Steven says, if you're going 4-2, where the hell did that go? If you're going 4-2 Commanders, should you get weird at captain? No, I don't think you should, because you're already getting, okay, I see what you're saying, because Commanders are the more popular team. Yeah, maybe that is the play. Maybe get weird and play a defensive captain, or maybe Curtis Samuel at captain, right? Or Antonio Gibson, right? Maybe that's a way that you can play more Commanders, but still be a little bit different. I don't mind that. Is 5-1 Washington required to take Washington? I don't know what that's asking. I think you're saying, like, do you need to put one at captain? I would. If I'm going with an onslaught, I'm almost certainly going to have a commander at that captain. I'm not tech savvy. Will my iPad handle the Rosetta Stone and optimizer graphics? Editor, answer that man's questions. I don't know either. I'm an old also. Is Kisner the best golfer? Don't ask golf questions here, bruh. All right, will you ever create a FanDuel projections? We do have FanDuel projections. What the hell are you talking about, boy? What the hell is you talking about? Right here. I think I got it right here. Look. So you got the stone right here. Boom, boom, boom. You just click over to FanDuel. Right there. FanDuel has all the projections for FanDuel. Don't be a noob. Don't be a noob, okay? Other people, they don't make fucking projections for certain things. I make projections. If it's a sport I cover, I'm making projections for it. It's easy when you make your own projections and you don't rely on somebody else's projections. More at captain, a good way to get leverage / different tonight. Absolutely. I do not think he will be that very highly owned in the captain spot because you're paying $15,000 for him. How brain cells are you missing in the viewers that don't hit the like? Yeah, a lot. They're real slow. Real slow. Who has the bigger game, Fields or Howe? I will go. I mean, I don't know. I think you need to. If the game is competitive, Fields. If the game is a shootout, Fields. If Washington blows them out, Howe. Okay. Mooney, a good option tonight. I mean, I think he's going to be dramatically overlooked. But, man, I wish he was like 2,400. 5,000 for Darnell Mooney. I mean, he could get there. He could get there. That's all I'll say. What's your favorite NFL team? Whoever's on my fantasy lineup. Snoop-a-loop. Let's see. Bears ever going to win? I mean, probably not. I think they're trying to get Caleb Williams. Hey, I won. What did I do next? You just shoot me a DM over on the Twitters, or if you're over on the Discord, just reach out to me over there, Drew. Let's see. Anyway, Moore goes off without taking Fields with him. No. I mean, because Fields offers such a safe floor with his rushing that if he's also throwing for 120 yards and a touchdown to Moore, I would imagine Fields is also getting there too. Cheapest captain option? To me, the cheapest guy I would consider at captain would probably be Samuel or Gibson. Probably the two cheapest I would consider. I say that. I guess I'd also consider the Commander's D, right? Because that's actually $200 cheaper than Samuel. Let's see. Can okay, stop with the fucking golf shit. Gibson, only 3,200, so why get there with Robinson having a good game? So why can't he get there? I mean, look, just what's the game script going to be that they're both going to get there? I mean, like, Gibson just isn't getting any rushes, right? It's not like he's averaging 3 rushes a game. If you think he's going to get 10 rushes tonight, well, then sure, they could both get there. But if he's not going to get that, it seems like the two are almost opposed to each other. Jason. All right. New guy in the back, sit down. Agree with that. I guess I'm older than old. I'm a member, but I'm still miss them. All right, editor, help out my dude 8 game. Great show, big guy. Best of luck. Hey, same to you, brother. Love the content. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate you being here. Why aren't you talking about the great sour cream Pringle? I just can't fit my fingers in the can to get the chips, so I'm pretty much out on Pringle. I mean, he is on the field a little bit, and I guess he's the ultimate punt, but Washington already spreads the ball enough. And, what is he, the 7th option? I don't know, man. I just don't think I can get there. So I guess you could consider him if you need just that ultra punt, especially if you're going with the 5-1 Commanders build. I guess he could get there, but Jesus, I don't love it. Man, this concurrent viewer is just bouncing all around. All right. Hey, I appreciate all of you guys being here. All of you that have hit the like, I appreciate you. Don't forget to go back and check out me and Tambo's preview. And, of course, be here Saturday night at 7 o'clock for the live stream. I put that out on Twitter, okay? And when you like and retweet over there on my drawing, which we will put in the Millionaire Maker this Sunday together and split the profits. So make sure you're doing that for me. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, tell a friend. I appreciate all of you. I hope you guys kick ass tonight. Let me know how you do. But in the meantime, enjoy this outro.